Hey, what's going on, Phone Dogs? Bo HD here, and Alcatel has sent us the new Idol 4S running Windows 10. The major difference between this unit and the unit we reviewed a couple of months ago is the software, but there are some hardware changes as well. So instead of Android Marshmallow, we have Windows 10 Mobile, and some of the improved specifications include a 5.5-inch AMOLED Full HD display, a Snapdragon 820 processor with 4GB of RAM, 21 megapixel rear camera, 8 megapixel front facing camera, stereo speakers, and a 3000 mAh battery. What's also neat is that this unit ships with a VR headset. Now we can get our first glimpse at the Idol 4S by prying open the top flap of the box. We'll see it sitting right on top, tucked away in a plastic bag. Underneath, we'll find an instructions manual to help you get this phone set up and running. There's also a SIM card removal tool. Finally, we have a VR headset. This is a fully functioning headset that features a head strap, 2 lenses, and a slot to insert your shiny new Idol 4S. You might be wondering, where are all of the other accessories like the charging cable and whatnot? Well, they're actually tucked away here inside the headset. You will see a USB-C cable and a quick charging wall wart here. So the build construction of the Idol 4S is unchanged from the Android version, but that's a really good thing. The build of the smartphone is wonderful. It's razor thin, first of all, coming in at 6.9 millimeters thick. It has a curved aluminum frame that stretches around all 4 sides of the phone, giving it some good solid integrity, strength, all that fun stuff. And there is Gorilla Glass on the front and the back of the phone. So the phone is going to be slippery and a little bit more fragile than a lot of other high-end smartphones, but it is an absolutely beautiful smartphone to look at and to feel in the hand. We do have a large 5.5-inch display that is virtual reality material. However, the FHD display is a bummer to see as the Idol 4S running Android features a QHD panel. What's up with that? I will say the color vibrancy is excellent on this panel, and the AMOLED display type makes this phone all the more beautiful to look at. Okay, so before I even powered this phone on, I knew Windows 10 would be my biggest concern. The OS has less than a 1% market share. What this means is that it's not going to get the support of many big developers. Forget the little guys, and it's not going to be a big priority for Microsoft to improve upon it. Add new features, fix bugs, improve stability, etc. So you can see the OS has some rough edges. With that said, it still functions to an acceptable level. You have little tiles that make up the home screen. That's not new. If you've ever experienced a Windows phone, that has always been a staple. You can switch between open apps by holding down the back button and switch to an application of your choice. Cortana is also present with Windows 10. And with a Snapdragon 820 CPU and 4GB of RAM, the performance is pretty solid, but I do feel like it could be a tad bit faster. There is a fingerprint scanner on the rear that is a great way to quickly unlock your phone while also keeping it pretty darn secure, but I don't like how there's a little splash screen displayed each time it unlocks the display. If they remove that Windows Hello screen, you'd have access to content faster. We also have a physical camera button on the right-hand side of the phone. I don't believe you can customize this button like you can on the Android variant, but I might be wrong. I'll put an annotation if that is the case. The 21 megapixel camera sensor has potential. One concern I noticed right away though was that the live view appears to be very shaky. Not sure if it's a defected unit or a bug here, but the phone does not have optical image stabilization, so that could also be to blame. Though I have tested other phones with no OIS and the live view hasn't appeared as shaky as this. As you can see here, it's kind of jumps all over the place. The good news is that image quality appears to be unaffected for the most part. In well-lit scenarios, you can capture some high-quality, pixel-packed photos and videos. These are all sample photos captured in the highest resolution possible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The speakers are absolutely incredible for a smartphone. There's a top and bottom firing speaker, and together they get very loud. And while I haven't tested the battery in detail, I am optimistic that the 3000 mAh battery will allow for a full day of moderate usage. I believe the FHD AMOLED display will help conserve some power. Overall, I find the Idol 4S running Windows 10 to be a little bit of a tough sell. It's priced at $470, which is not too bad considering the hardware specifications. But once again, I'm not too confident about the software, unfortunately. It may sound like I'm hating on Windows Phone, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that it can compete against iOS or Android. I think it can be a daily driver for select Windows users, but if you use a lot of Google services or like to heavily customize your smartphone or use relatively obscure applications, you're kind of out of luck here. Of course, I'll need to spend more time with this device to really wrap my head around what it can offer, But until then, this is our first look, first impressions of the Idol 4S running Windows 10. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're brand new. As always, I'm BoHD from PhoneDag.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you right back here in the next one. See ya.